All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ACDT number 73. It's the March 9th of 2026. I will just drop the agenda in the chat for everyone to have a look at. And we've got a lot of DevNets running or about to launch. So I think that'll take up a lot of time today. Let's get to it. First off, the status of Blob DevNet 0. Would someone like to speak up about that who has a bit more context?
That should usually be Barnabas, but he's out today. Last I've heard, there hasn't been any particular change. So I would say it's roughly the same as last week. I know that he was looking a bit into bottlenecks with higher blob counts, but I think we have an agenda item later to talk about Engine API and SLZ.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Parry. That would actually be more or less now, if we want to talk about it now. If someone would like to add I know that Barnabas did a bit of benchmarking. If someone else would like to pick that up, there was quite a bit of discussion in Ethereum R&D on this.
I mean, just to summarize the issue, so there has been tracing, like OTEL tracing, OpenTelemetry added to the clients, and then Barnabas looked at the bottlenecks, and he saw that serializing is quite the bottleneck. And since we want to switch to SSC anyways, it would make sense to have that as a way to communicate between the EL and CL. And that's kind of the proposal. And through the capabilities, it's not really a breaking thing. Just if the clients support it, then they can basically use that, otherwise fall back. And that's kind of necessary to scale it further. That's kind of the context of the PR.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Stefan. I guess this would be a decision that would be deferred to ACDE or ACDC. Would any client teams like to speak up to the suggestion and strongly oppose it or welcome it?
I will, I think, because I have been doing some work on this over the weekend. This is not, of course, this is a discussion for ACD, so I'm not gonna take time too much, but I did implement the spec for Prism, Lodestar, Lighthouse, Teku, Aragon, Nethermind, and Geth. I also ran some benchmarks through Kurtosis. It works. It can be done very easily it can be done very easily optionally. So yeah, I just wanted to give this quick update. I'm gonna present it maybe more on ACD, but it's basically done. I mean, it's not done, but there is already a proof of concept, and probably if you want to test it on Blob DevNet 0, you can take one of my PRs from one CL and one EL, and then just YOLO it there, and you should see if that helps or not.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for that, Gilo. I think that's really helpful to help make a decision.
The proposal was also do it as an optional thing, right? So worst case, we can roll it out asynchronously, and whichever clients have it implemented, it would be used, otherwise it doesn't.
So the way it works is that when you send a request to anywhere via HTTP or via the web, you can put your content type that you expect in the header. So if you put the application JSON, what happens is that you're going to be redirected to JSON RPC. this is all execution layer side, right? So if the engine API, if the consensus layer set JSON RPC, it will be routed to the JSON RPC. If not, it will be, if it puts octet stream, it will be redirected to a RESTful API that uses SSD instead. So that's why it's optional. So the CL can test if there is the SSD support by seeing if it doesn't get an error, if it puts octet stream, and then it can decide himself where to go by default. Maybe at the beginning, of course, since this will require maybe Hive tests to be adapted, you will have it basically disabled even in CL and be enableable by a flag. But yeah, I think it's, but it is optional. It's very easy to make it optional, and it's already optional as I already implemented them.
All right, thank you. I think we'll leave that there, perhaps to be taken up for further discussion. Another call. The only other topic we have there was some issues on E69, but I think it was just some mainnet peers sneaking in. I don't know if anyone wants to say anything to that. I think the problem's solved. Would there be any other topics for Blob DevNet 0 that anyone wants to talk about today? Okay. Thanks a lot, Giulio and Parry, for the context. Moving on to Glamsterdam. Bal DevNet 2 is still running, and I think Stefan just posted in the issue below that he'd like to talk.
Yeah, I can go over it if you like. So basically, I got around to adding some more nodes. These nodes won't have any validators attached to them. They're just different configurations with the prefetch enabled, sequential, or with all of the BAL optimizations enabled. I've now rolled that out on DevNet 2 for just Geth and Bezo, so we can capture some benchmarks. I will update also the Grafana dashboard with these nodes. They're currently still syncing, and that will give us some insights. I'm not sure how long I will be running them, but we will have a little bit of data for how good the optimizations are. And I think DevNet 2 also has a decent state by now. I mean, it's not mainnet, but it's something, since we've been spamming continuously on the network since it started. But otherwise, I think regarding nodes, it's going pretty smoothly so far. Just one issue with the Bezo tracing that is already being looked at. And Aragon hasn't given an update regarding their progress on DevNet 2. I think they switched over focusing on DevNet 3, about DevNet 3. But I think that's all from DevNet 2. And I think we can, if it's okay, if anyone else has something to say for DevNet 2, otherwise we can move on to DevNet 3. Okay, then for DevNet 3, we've been doing a lot of local testing in kurtosis, trying to find any inconsistencies with the spec or with the different implementations. So it's still an ongoing process, especially for 8.37. These gas changes also kind of make it difficult for the BAL because quickly there are consensus issues with the block level access list and gas accounting. So that makes it a little bit harder, but it would be good if we could get an update from the clients regarding the progress on BAL DevNet 3. Maybe we can start with Geth.
I see your PR got merged, Stefan. Does anyone from the call from Geth want to speak up to that? Looks like Marius merged. the fix. Okay, if not, shall we move on to Bezu?
Yeah, I can give an update. So with the latest spec test 5.3, we have 7 failing tests. 2 of them are false positives, where Besu recognizes the block as invalid, which is expected. We just returned the wrong error message, so I need to make a PR for the execution specs to fix that. The other 5 were 8037 differences between the 5.2 tests and the 5.3. I have been fixing them this morning. I think it should work now. So if everything is correct, I think we should pass all the tests, but I need to double check. As I said, except maybe for some false positives, but for the consensus specific stuff, it should be correct.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Just for context, Ben detected some gaps in 8037 coverage, created an issue and added some tests himself, and Spencer added a few more tests for 8037, which resulted in another execution specs release 5.3, which was released late on Friday. And just a heads up that release includes all the tests filled. Well, it includes Osaka, but it actually includes all forks. So not just Amsterdam. So yeah, then if you see any issues with the tests, please ping us in the Discord and let us know what needs to be changed. Then, Stefan, you also found an issue in Nimbus that PR also seems to be merged.
Yes, we're making some small progress, but I've also been testing with all the clients with a basic payload of creating a large contract and EVM fuzzing, and those networks don't seem very healthy yet. So there are still a lot of things to uncover that I'm also working on. It would be great if client teams can run kurtosis locally to see if they can find some issues as well. Still, I updated the kurtosis configuration in the spec sheet to the latest one, and also updated the Ethereum Genesis generator to include the Nethermind timestamps as well. But I think, is there anyone from Reth that could give an update as well? That would be great.
We've got Dragon working on 837. I think most of the changes are there. It's just like testing and some fixes. But otherwise, I think on the Wrath side, we're passing all the tests. So I think we're looking good.
Okay, and Nethermind, a quick update. That would be great.
Yeah, we have all the features implemented. We're planning some tests at the moment. And the BALS optimizations we're thinking will come a bit later.
Okay, great. I think then we're making pretty good progress. It's mostly about ironing out all the small issues with gas accounting that basically straight away result in consensus issues because of BALS. Is there anything we missed on DevNet 3?
Do you have a feeling, Stefan? Sorry, do you have a feeling, Stefan, for when we could potentially launch? Is there any date targeted for that?
I think Marius just raised his hand, but regarding the deadline, let's try to get it for Wednesday again. Let's get it working well. Marius?
Yeah, so we just set in a call for like an hour, and I think they said for 2 more hours before that. looking over the 8037 changes. It's like the stuff that we have is partly implemented by me, which are the good parts, of course, and half of it is implemented by AI, and it's just so garbage that we basically have to sit down and redo a lot of these. I suspect we will not be able to finish, or I will not be able to finish that by Wednesday. The version we have right now, it has still not passing a bunch of test cases, like 1,000, but it might be able to participate on a network, except for if there are any transactions on it, basically. No, if there are complex interactions. So I try to do my best to get there, but it's not super easy. And the whole logic of 8037 is also, it's just not super nice, and it every time I think more about it, I want to change stuff, but then I think more about it and I don't want to change them anymore, and so it's not an easy process.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
so it's hard to say what the deadline will be. I think we'll make some more progress until Wednesday, and I think then we can see and maybe have some more specifics.
Ben?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, the implementation for us has been like an extremely deep change that like has tendrils that affect everything. And so we don't like it from that respect. But then from another aspect, can't really think of anything better. So yeah, is what it is, I suppose.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the additional context, Marius and Ben. I think Wednesday does seem a bit ambitious. As always, I think we can lean on Highview and the test results to see how clients are doing this week. And obviously, Stefan's amazing kurtosis testing as well, to see if it reveals some more gaps in coverage. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss for BAL DevNet 3, or can we wrap that up now?
Maybe just a quick question regarding the BAL optimizations. So Geth and Beso have been ready already with the parallel IO. I wanted to quickly get a feeling how far other clients are with regards to the parallel IO optimization. I think I saw in the chat that was it Ben or Lukas? Someone mentioned that Nethermind is getting there very soon. So I'm wondering, is that already like DevNet 3 ready? And also hearing from other clients like Aragon and Ref, how far they are with regards to the parallel IO.
Parallel transaction processing is almost ready, and we are experimenting with parallel IO, but our current experimentations are not really netting any major benefit and almost any benefit, to be honest. So, but we are not sure. Maybe we still will manage to get something.
Yeah, we're more focused on correctness than optimization at this stage, I'd say.
Makes sense. Yeah, thanks a lot for the update. Is there also someone from Ref that could quickly, I guess Dragan is not on the call, but is there someone else who has insights into parallel IO on Ref?
We've got the batch IO work in a PR. Otherwise,
Does it give you any benefit?
Oh no, we're just doing pure implementation at this point, no optimizations.
But I mean, have you benchmarked it? Does it give you any benefit?
No, we haven't benched it.
Okay.
But can do that today and report back.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the update. Yeah, and we have some tests prepared. It's in the testing repo. There are some tests specifically written for benchmarking. That could be used. I can post them into the Discord so we could, yeah, catch up async.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Tony, and everyone for chiming in there. I'm thinking that's it for BAL DevNet 3. Moving to the CL, would someone like to give an update on the ePBS DevNet?
Yeah, so ePBS DevNet 0 launched last week, and we had a couple of early issues. Portis has a write-up on his blog as to what the issues were. I've linked it over here. But besides that, we aren't particularly testing or stressing the network. It's just making sure that the nodes are up to date and rolling out patches from clients. I guess more serious testing would kind of happen on ePBS DevNet 1.
Thanks, Perry. I think POTUS wanted to talk about forcing the EL to trigger block production on older heads and the issue with PTC look-ahead. POTUS, would you like to speak up on those topics?
Yeah, so one is sort of like mandatory, and the other one we need to make a decision how to deal with. So the first one is on the EL side. Today there's on the engine API, there is a may that I think needs to become a must, which is the fact that when we send a for choice updated message to the EL for a previous head, then the EL just ignores it and gives us an empty payload ID. But on ePBS, the problem is that we actually might have an honest reorg on the CL that does a for choice update to a previous head on the current branch. So I currently, because of the issues that, we have like partial for choice in the DevNet, this is actually being triggered on Prism essentially every few blocks. And yes, so, that's the comment. I need input from the EL. Marius already replied something, but then that sort of died on Discord. I need to know from the EL if this is hard, if this is trivial, if we can have it soon so that we can actually start testing, these kind of things.
And all ELs work like that?
Well, all ELs, as far as I know, give us an empty payload ID if I give you an FCU to a previous head. At least every time that we test, the EL gives us an empty payload ID. They ignore an FCU to a previous head, and they don't trigger block production when I do an FCU for an old head, and that breaks ePBS.
Is this
Yeah,
a temporary thing, or like, do you think it'll get better with multiple choice progress?
No, I mean, this has to be the case. I mean, a reorg, I might reorg to empty. Like, there's an honest behavior, which is voting for the empty block. And in that case, the CL needs to reorg a current head, and it needs to be able to produce a block on top of a previous head.
Okay.
The thing that is triggering this, I mean, this shouldn't happen on production on mainnet regularly, right? So we want to continue building on full. But the problem is that Lighthouse and Lodestar are voting for empty everywhere, and they outweigh us. And so we take this as a signal that we need to reorder the payload, and we try to build on empty. But then when we try to build on empty, the EL just scraps on us, and we get reordered.
Marius, did you want to add something?
Yes. So the problem is that the spec does not allow FCU to a parent of a block, because that basically means we are reorging back the chain. The payload production is a different scheme. To allow you to
Yeah,
use block.
I can't hear Marius.
Yeah, we cannot hear anything.
So now, God damn it.
Every third word, maybe.
Okay, different.
Might be the internet.
Okay, we'll see if Marius can resolve his connection issues. Are there any other EL devs that would like to speak up to this in the meantime?
Yeah, I'm taking a look and I explicitly see this in our code base that yes, if we have a fork choice to a payload that is on the same chain as the current head, we ignore it. So not sure what should we do and how's the specification here.
So, yes, this was part of the spec. I hope you can hear me better now. I'm in a different Wi-Fi. Hopefully I will get better internet soon. So the problem is that we are forbidding these reorging the same chain. What we could allow is if you specify if you specify the new fork choice, but older payload parameters that we are building these older blocks for you. We could do that, or we could allow for reorging the chain. But I think there was an issue with reorging the chain, why we specified it this way, but I'm not sure.
I will add interesting context in our Taiko plugin. We actually have this feature disabled, so you can reorg to older chain, which is interesting. But it's not in the mainnet implementation.
Okay. It seems like this topic will need to be followed up on.
Yeah, but I just want to stress something that I mean, it's not a matter of something that might be optional. That there are reorgs on the EL that will happen where we roll back the chain, and that will be the head. Even if no block is produced, we are going to call the EL saying you just need to roll back your head.
Yeah, that is so horrible UX. I know that this is the way it's going to work now, but this is so horrible to, UX, because we are telling the users that, hey, this is the new head. Oh no, actually the previous head is the new head. Or actually, no, we have now another sidechain that isn't the new head.
But isn't that the way that it works now?
Yes, but
Don't
it
you
never
have exactly
happens.
this behavior when you reorg a block?
Yes, but reorgs never happen. And it seems that with
yeah, reorgs will never
UPVS
happen on mainnet either, but we need to deal with them.
Okay, then it's fine. Like we can just prepare a branch that removes this check for Bell DevNet 1 or 0 or wherever you guys are at. I think that is not a problem. Like I can do that right now.
Okay. Are there any other EL client devs who would like to speak up to that, or does this discussion need to be taken in more detail elsewhere? POTUS, are you happy with the comments you've received?
Yeah, definitely. If we just have an implementation that we can test, that'll allow us to test for choice. I mean, we don't expect to see many of these kind of reorgs, but we need to deal with them, and we need to test our for choice. So we need to have a branch that does this.
Okay.
Does it when
There's no rush at all. We are not going to test for choice until 2 DevNets from now, so there's no problem at all not having this behavior now. We're not thinking on testing these things even on DevNet 1.
is it purely a testing thing, or would it need to be a spec change for mainnet?
It happens that we reorg blocks on mainnet. It will happen that we will reorg payloads on mainnet, which is done. We don't want to see it regularly, as they just don't happen today regularly. But it does happen that we have reorgs on mainnet.
All right. POTUS, when's the next EPBS breakout?
We don't have breakouts since we have this meeting.
Okay, good. Well, I think the message was pretty clear. Thank you. Did you want to talk about the PTC look ahead as well?
Yeah, this is an issue that Nico found, which is, yeah, it's a flaw in our spec. We need to, PTC attestations are sent during one slot, and then they are included in the next slot's block, and they are validated when we process that block. The problem is that the PTC committee is computed with the balances of the given state. And that means that if you attested being on the PTC on slot 31, and your attestation got included in slot 32, you are validating the block that included that PTC attestation, and you're looking at the effective balances of the current slot, which is 32, is in a different epoch, and that may have changed the PTC, the full committee. So an attestation that was included in the block because it was valid then might just become invalid now. And to deal with this, we have a few options. I opened the most naive of the possible PRs, which is including a sort of like a look behind. We just cache the full PTC committee for the current epoch, well, the previous epoch and the current epoch on the beacon state. It is mostly useless because this only happens at that particular slot. It's just one slot that is needed. But clients anyway seem to cache the full epoch to have duties. So it seems on a first run, it seems that clients don't mind this. But I don't know. I wanted to have a small discussion at least on what are the options or what people prefer. I really have no strong opinion on the topic. Perhaps Nico is here who found the topic, if he can just say something.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's the cleanest spec design here, but as for Lodestar, we currently cache the current and previous epoch. So for us, it wouldn't be extra memory usage. Also, I think it's the equivalent of, I think, 64 validators or something. So it's pretty small memory-wise.
Yeah, so the current PR, I think it's 256 kilobytes per state that is added.
Does the spec right now say, like, I'm sure, like, the spec is correct, right? In terms of who you validate when and where?
No, the spec is incorrect, actually. The spec, I mean, it's clear on whom you need to validate, but the problem is that something that was valid in the previous epoch is not valid in the current epoch.
Right.
So this
okay.
is a bug in the spec.
It's using the wrong state at that point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, we should fix the spec. But I think what you suggested makes sense. Yeah, like I don't think we need to be more invasive, have some cache explicit in the state. Clients can just cache it locally. But it should just be clear, yeah, who you want to validate against.
Yeah, the cache is actually quite trivial. We are. It turns out that Prism is not caching the full epoch. Prism is only caching the committee and computing slot by slot. But moving to the full epoch is trivial for us, so it's fine.
Do you have a link to the PR?
Oh yeah, let me find it.
Okay.
To be clear, this solution that you guys just talked about, would that mean not adding anything to the state? Like caching it in the clients outside of the state?
No. This needs to be added somewhere. It needs to be clear what is the state that you're validating with. So the PR caches it in the state.
I see.
Yeah,
I think
but
256 kilobytes is kind of a lot to be added to the state each slot or epoch.
I think it's each epoch, but yeah, why can't it just say, you know, use the state in this case of the last slot? Like you should just use the state that corresponds to the validators you're validating
Well,
against.
the state transition function is a function that takes one state, one block, and recovers a new state. If you change the signature, that's a much deeper change. You're going to be saying now, take two states
yeah, but
and a
we're
block
saying,
and give me a new state.
well, yeah, I don't know. Is there nowhere else we don't do this? Like,
yeah, there's no, there's no way we're doing this. And even we tried like milder changes before of having one state and two blocks, like to use the previous block as part of a state transition function. And Danny almost kills us and forced us to like cache. Whenever we are in this kind of situation, we add an extra cache to the state. That's why we have headers and we have a bunch of stuff in the states that we could just easily take from the previous block.
I think I prefer a solution that just adds the least amount of data to the state, whatever that is.
So there is a solution that only adds so two committees. That will be 1,000 indices, so it's 8 kilobytes, I think, and that works. But then that forces clients to be like updating this, so to keeping the cache in memory and then updating this state every slot. I can open that PR if you want. It's easy to open. I don't know what CL clients would think it's. I mean, there's a trade-off of complexity versus like having the space in the state or not.
Yeah, I would hold off on adding a PR for that. I think we should just continue discussing this more. But yeah.
This one is a little bit more urgent than the previous one because we do want to test PTC attestations. And we suspect that if we send PTC attestations now on DevNet 0, we're going to split. So I think that's the last thing we're going to do. When we tested all of the existing structure, we are going to say, well, okay, so now we're fine by splitting. Let's just send PTC attestations and see if we actually split or everyone implemented the same kind of sort of cache.
Got it. Yeah, let's make a decision on this this week, and I can also make a spec release with this change as well.
All right. Thanks a lot, Justin. I think we can continue that conversation async. Just in case you missed it, POTUS, Mario's already pushed a fix to the Geth branch, the fix for reorging to parents in the chat above. Is there anything else that we'd like to discuss on the EPBS DevNet before moving on?
Can we quickly like decide parties here of what sort of like things we can send, or it's fine if we just like comment on the chat? we want to like stress now EPBS DevNet 0. We can probably kill it but we should like test, I don't know, withdrawals and these kind of things. So for this, we just need to make sure that we have clients that can handle or that think that they can handle and what structures they can handle.
Can we make a thread on EPBS and then we can have a list of things and we'll take care of it?
I'm sorry, Barry, I didn't hear you.
Can we make a list on the ETH R&D EPBS channel? And then once we have a list, we can just go through it one by one. I'd rather first test it out locally before just breaking the live network.
Maybe it'd be nice to get some verbal discussion on this really quickly, though. Like, what can clients not do? Is there anything? Or I don't know. I kind of agree with Botus that it might be nice to talk about.
Yeah, maybe withdrawals is the easiest first one. Is there any client that can handle withdrawals on EPBS DevNet 0 right now?
Well, withdrawals will happen once we have, I don't know. We need to, so withdrawal request, you mean, right?
Yeah.
I think we should be able to handle them. Not sure. We can try.
Okay. We can create a local test and then share the outcome. I would assume it's the same for deposits, blobs, transaction load, everything. So we can just try one test locally with everything and see what breaks.
Right. So I'd like to try current structures that exist, whether or not we can continue handling them, especially if there is a missed slot or a reorg of a payload. So now the DevNet is perfect because there aren't that many missed slots. So it's good.
Yeah.
To try.
Cool. Yeah, what we can probably do is Asserter can turn on and off block production, and then we can trigger missed slots via that, and then make sure that the network's still fine. Yeah, I'll set up a test for it.
When you say builder deposit, or sorry, when you say deposits, does that include builder deposits?
No, just the usual structures that exist now. And then once we know that we can handle those, like normal deposits, then we can just start dealing with builder deposits. I think that should be easy. And after
So
that, we can just kill everything with PTC attestations or trying to reorg just payloads. Like we can start like withholding payloads and these kind of things and see if people like reorg the full block or just build on empty.
Okay.
And then I'm sure we're going to kill the DevNet. I'm sure we're going to be split then, but that's fine.
Okay. We'll continue discussing this on ETH R&D Discord. Dan, are you there?
Hey, yeah, sorry everyone. I had a bit of a sound problem for a minute, but I think I'm back now. I could hear you, Justin. Sorry about that. I lost the last minute of whatever was said or not said. I have one short in my agenda. I mentioned that Techo and Nimbus are not running on the DevNet. Is that not true? Are all clients running on the DevNet at the moment?
Techo and Nimbus are not running.
Okay.
But Stefan, I don't know if Stefan is here, but Stefan said that he might be able to hack a branch to sync. So if we started from Genesis, I think both work, but syncing is a problem, or checkpoint syncing is a problem.
Yeah, I'm working on it in the moment, but haven't done it yet.
Okay. I was just wondering whether it's time to up the ante on testing on the DevNet when some client teams haven't joined yet, but I'll let you decide that based on local testing, if that's how you're going to move forward. Are there any other topics for EPS DevNet 0 before we move on? All right. Then Tony brought up on the agenda, he wanted to talk about a networking protocol change, Snap2. Tony, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, I will be quick with that one. Gary and me have began speccing Snap2, which is Snap protocol using block level access list. It's an early draft, so I would love to have more eyes on it. Basically, instead of using get try nodes, it will use the block level access list to do the healing phase in SnapSync. That's kind of the TLDR. And yeah, more to become. But would be great to get some feedback on it.
Sorry, yeah, thanks a lot, Tony. Tony just dropped the link in the chat. If anyone wants to provide feedback, please take a look. And I think Joachim's question moves on to the next agenda point. So if just quickly, if anyone would like to mention something now about Snap2, please speak up. Otherwise, we'll move on to ETH 70, ETH 71. Okay. So Tony had another agenda point for ETH 71 to clarify the response size cap. Would you like to say something to that?
Yeah, this was a mistake I made. So I was just thinking of the 10 megabyte limit which we had in ETH 70 with the receipts. But thanks to Bosel, who pointed out on ETH Magicians that Geth is using, for example, Geth is using a 2 megabyte soft cap, and ETH 71 for block level access lists now also has the same soft cap of 2 megabytes. So this was a very recent change I just did today, just as a heads up.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the information, Tony. Is there anything to discuss for ETH 70? Does anyone have context on this? Is this blocking anyone? Okay. If no one has anything to say there, then I would move on to benchmarking and state bloat, in particular performance DevNet 3. Would someone like to give an update on the perf DevNet 3?
I can give a quick update. So for the blotting process, we already completed the blotting for EOA account and ERC20. We have a smaller size ERC20 that targeted necessary benchmark. And we have an updated version of related benchmark, including account access benchmark and storage operation related benchmark. And we're now moving forward to generate a payload using guest benchmark tools from Niedermeyer team and collecting the data using benchmarker. On the agenda, I see there's some question regarding the snapshot management. I'm not entirely sure about the details. I see Johan on the call. Maybe Johan could chime in for more details.
Yeah, so on the, can everyone hear me? I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great, great. So on the DevNet, well, to take a snapshot, you of course have to have a synced client. as of now, we have the clients Ref, Nethermind, Besu, and Geth. Eragon has a problem, but the plan is if it is synced, then we will take another snapshot and we will use that snapshot for the snapshot height.
All right. Thank you for the updates. Lewis, did you want to add did you have any other questions for client teams regarding?
I didn't know from my side. Thank you.
Okay. Joachim?
Yes, one more point. So we are currently targeting the benchmarks for the repricing, but I will also ask to start running the block level access list benchmarks. We have some benchmarks for that ready. I think they are not merged yet, but I will focus on that this week to get these merged and to also add additional benchmarks to also target the block level access lists. I think we will target the perf devnet because then we can also focus on the state to see what the impact is on the block access list there. So also running clients with the block access list optimizations and without them to see the well, what they optimize and what the impact of these is. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joachim. Are all clients synced to the DevNet now? Or is it still some clients missing?
Eragon is not fixed, but I see on Discord that there is a fix ready, except that it needs a resync. So this is going to take some time. But this is not a blocker for the benchmarks. We will run them on the synced clients, and we will try to get Eragon synced and to also add those to the benchmarks. Yeah.
Nice.
And one of the reasons, just to add this, is that well, not the reason, but one of the causes is that on the DevNet we really we raise like the gas limit by a lot, and this stresses the clients, of course, and well, this might run into unforeseen issues. Like I'm not going to speculate, but one of these things are like out of memory issues where well, there's like a lot of state changes happening, and these state changes are all loaded into memory, and this causes an out of memory. And this is of course only a thing which happens if you like raise the gas limit by a lot and then start to spam this network with a lot of these blocks. But it's, I think, still nice to see to find these kind of bugs and to fix these now. So we are basically ready for like a 5 gigagas network based on these kind of stresses. Yeah. But I'm not saying we should move to 5 gigagas on mainnet, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the clarification, Joachim. All right. Any other topics for Perf DevNet 3 or for other benchmarking topics in total? There's, of course, an informal gaslighting committee meeting tomorrow. If client teams want to join, just drop a line to Lewis or Maria or Joachim and ask to join. Otherwise, any other topics on benchmarking or state bloat? Okay, so we're very close to the end of agenda. The only other topic that I would that I added to the agenda was basically there was some discussion about the ACDT cadence and whether we should reduce this. I think I would just say, given the amount of discussion we have on this call at the moment, I think it's merited to have it weekly. But of course, I understand that it's a diverse scope of topics and that not all topics are directly relevant to a lot of people on the call. I added the link to the thread in the ETH-R&D Discord server thread to the agenda. Please chime in there. But if anyone wants to add quickly their 2 cents before we finish up for today, please feel free to speak up.
Yeah, maybe one thing I was thinking of was taking a call about next week's ACDT by roughly like Wednesday or Thursday. If it feels like there's mostly just topics to discuss on one specific feature, for example, if it's EPBS or whether it's block level access list, then we could just defer the call to an EPBS breakout so that the teams can go deeper into those niches. Yeah, Portal.
I'd suggest that we have a call that doesn't have a topic and whose topic is chosen every week. So for example, now we could say benchmarking this or that feature on block level access list requires a discussion. Let's just take that spot on Wednesday. So that call actually is a technical call and only is attended by people that know that they want to be there. No, Nick, so it's not really ACDT because ACDT now has, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 people talking about completely separate topics and none of them actually gets to be discussed in detail. Or at least none of the ones that I know about.
So this suggestion would be similar to how ACD got split into the EL and the CL calls. We could do the same for ACDT and rotate.
No, because that keeps them every week already forced everyone from ACDC to go there. What I say is we have a topic, we decide now today, or an ACD or whatever, or even async, we have this topic, let's cover it in that call. And let's just have a focused call that is a very technical call.
So just reserve the spot for breakouts and define the breakout subject based on demand. Okay, Tony, did you want to add something?
Yes, we also wanted to stop doing the block access list breakout calls and move them to ACDT. So as of today, we are still on Wednesday. Every 2 weeks is the block access list breakout call, and every other week there is the repricing breakout call. And we could also use that spot. So I think that's basically what Poto said. For example, with all the benchmarking that is still needed and might still need a breakout call, we could move it to do it weekly or have that new spot that the block access list breakout call had to do other breakout sessions.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Sorry, did someone want to speak up?
Yeah, I think part of the issue might just be that it's a seasonal thing. Maybe right now the better option is to seed ACD in terms of ACDT in terms of more breakout sessions, because it seems like there's more interest in diving deeper into topics rather than making quicker decisions. Maybe in 2 months that's not the case anymore, and we just need to meet to make quicker decisions. So yeah, we Mario and I can maybe take a call on it on a weekly basis. If it feels like there's a lot of piled up decisions across different streams, we can say that we do ACDT. But on weeks that there aren't, then we can see to switch to a breakout format. Does that sound like a fair outcome?
That sounds fine. Thank you, Parry. I think we can leave it there. Continue a discussion async, perhaps in that thread. Thanks, Justin, also for offering to help. That's awesome. We're at the hour. So thanks a lot for everyone for coming and for your contributions. Been a really good call. Thanks a lot. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.